over to Mr. Bhavik Shah from B&K Securities. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thanks, operator. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the call. On behalf of Batlivala and Karani Securities, we welcome you all to Punjab National Bank 1QFY21 post-results conference call. We have with us today the management of Punjab National Bank, represented by Mr. C.S.S. Mallikarjuna Rao, MD and CEO, Dr. R.K. Yaduvanshi, Executive Director, Mr. Sanjay Kumar, Executive Director, Mr. Vijay Dubey, Executive Director, Mr. A.K. Azad, Executive Director, and other senior officials. I would now request MD and CEO sir to start the call with his opening remarks on 1QFY21 results, post which we can start the Q&A session. Over to you, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon once again to all of you. At the outset, I would like to welcome on behalf of Punjab National Bank for this conference call involving the analysts with respect to the results what we have declared by June 2020. While all the details are in the public domain by way of listing vertical details and as well as the presentation, still I would like to take a few minutes by giving you the highlights of the performance and leave the forum open for the questions. With respect to domestic deposits, there is a growth of 3%, moving to 10,44,290. Domestic advances have grown by 1%, almost flat. Domestic business overall has grown by 2.2%. CRAR stood at 12.63 at the end of June 2020. CASA has grown by 10%, 10.1% on year-on-year basis, out of which savings itself has grown by 11%. Retail credit has grown by 4.2%, of which housing loan grew by 6.22%. Operating profit grew by 2.5%. Net profit for the quarter end stood at 308 crores, and the non-interest income has grown by 7.9%. If you look at gross NPA ratio stood at 14.11, net NPA ratio stood at 5.39. Provision coverage ratio has moved to 80.75% as at the end of June 2020. These are the major areas of our performance. With respect to any other queries, now I open the forum for discussion.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and 1 on your touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and 1. First question is from the line of Maruk Adjania from Elara Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. So I had a few questions.
May I
Hello?
speak a little louder?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please, tell me.
So I had a few questions. So firstly, just in terms of slippages and restructuring, I know that it's a volatile environment, but what would be your best guess for full year slippage and for the one-time restructuring?
Okay.
For FY21.
Okay. Any question further, or shall I reply to this question?
Yes, sir. I have other questions on the ECLGS scheme, but I can take that up after this.
Okay. So on restructuring and the slippage, both are different, because restructuring, once you undertake, there is no slippage required. Accounts will not be slipping. So our estimate at this point of time is only, you can say, guesstimate, because we avoid the outcome of the covenants to be decided by KV Kamath committee in terms of the accounts which are having 100 crores and above. However, we anticipate that roughly around 5 to 6% of the credit book may be going under restructuring. That is the overall estimate we are having as on today, but it will be crystallized by end of September once we receive the guidelines from them. In terms of MSME, in terms of retail, it is clearly visible to us with respect to restructuring because of the RBI guidelines which are clear. We are also working on identifying them, because we may not offer restructuring in terms of personal loans to everybody, because majority of the housing loans are personal loans in public sector space, specifically to PNB, they are all government employees. So the repayment is already happening, so there may not be any requirement of restructuring there. However, they may require moratorium, which anyway is available as per RBI guidelines, which will be extended and they will be paying at the end of the repayment schedule. So that is related to restructuring. The overall estimate is 5 to 6% of the loan book. With respect to slippage, the slippage, what you have seen by June stood at 1,917 crores. So roughly it could be around 8,000 to 10,000 crores slippage, what we can anticipate during the year end March 21. This amount covers those accounts which are not permitted for restructuring. More importantly, some of the NBFC accounts where stress may be there, and some of the accounts in the corporate book, because of covenants we may not be able to offer restructuring. There may be possibility of slippage, though individual verification will be clear by September end. We are estimating that there could be anything around 8,000 to 10,000 crores. So that is our estimate for both the things.
Got it, sir. So, and so basically in terms of restructuring, how much of retail do you think would get restructured? I know it's mostly housing, but that again would be 6 to 7% only, or?
It would be even less than that. Because majority of the housing profile will be satisfied with the moratorium, which doesn't constitute to be restructuring.
Right. No. So what I'm saying is that you may extend the moratorium after the moratorium ends through the one-time restructuring. So that will be counted as restructured or not?
Absolutely. If we are extending the moratorium, it will be restructuring. That profile may not be very high. It could be anything around 5 to 6%.
Got it. Got it. And MSMEs, under the MSME scheme, you would restructure, is it?
Yeah. MSME, that window is different. As you are aware, this has been a window available from RBI for the last 1 year. And the covenants are also different. Standard SMA 012 are all eligible as on 29th of February 2020. So those accounts also we are identifying, but then account should be ongoing account. There are certain other factors which we verify, but there also it will not be very high because already NPA ratio in MSME is around 14.8% currently. So maybe another 5 to 8% could be the profile where we may undertake restructuring.
And this is even after the ECLGS scheme. So even after they've got additional funding, or
that is the reason why the scope is very limited, because whatever stress they had, we have already funded them. One is 10% funding we have given initially, and then 20% has come by way of government guarantee credit. So naturally, the possibility of restructuring happen in MSME accounts is very, very less.
Got it, sir. So, and my other question was on the ECLGS scheme. So sorry, but coming back to restructuring again, so in corporates we know what sectors have been stressed by COVID, like hotel, tourism, airport, aviation. But other than that, do you think other sectors in the corporate segment will also get restructured? Like earlier, before the DISCOM scheme actually came into play, people were worried that a few more power accounts could get restructured. Is that a risk now, any longer?
I don't see. The first thing is that in the aviation sector, there will be an impact, but then aviation, our exposure is restricted to one standard account of the Government of India. Another is already NPA, Jet Airways. So the question of restructuring does not arise there. The other sectors where PNB, will be having little amount of stake would be the, hospitality segment will be there. Then tourism industry is there. These are all the areas where probably restructuring is required to be undertaken. Aviation, we are ruling out. We don't have many bigger accounts. Only small account is there, so restructuring is not an issue. Tourism and hospitality segment. Further, there may be industrial accounts where there could be problem depending upon the dependency on the labor. If it is a high labor-intensive industry, it may take longer time for coming back. When I say longer time, it may not happen from October, but it may take another 5 to 6 months time. So depending upon the industry, we'll have to go about it.
Got it. And so in the ECLGS scheme, the government has outlined 3 trillion, but as of early August, the sanctions were only 1.5 trillion and have risen a bit more now. So why is the offtake so weak? As in, it's such a good scheme that banks have zero risk weight. For the borrower, the rates are low. So one thought that this entire thing would be used up soon so that the borrowers can be refinanced at a lower rate. So your risk is lower. Plus you have zero risk weight. So your risk adjusted returns are also high.
Correct. See, the fundamental point is 3 lakh crore estimate was a generic bird's eye view estimate at the government level. When it got drilled down to identifying the accounts, For example, as on 29th of February, the eligibility is up to 25 crores, 20% of which can be given. Now 25 crores, when the estimated bird's eye view has happened, data collected from the banks. But the same borrower having exposure in multiple banks, crossing about 25 crores was not eligible at that point of time. So in reality, when we went ahead for implementation, there was a lot of change. So that is one reason. So that is regarding the eligibility. Second reason is medium enterprise. My MSME contains three categories: micro, small and medium. Medium enterprises, many of the people have got the sanctions, or probably they were not willing to have the sanction. Those who got the sanction also have not utilized. The reason is they wanted to wait for the operating cycle to start, and then only they wanted to take. So these are the two major reasons. The first reason, in order to overcome, the government has enhanced the eligibility to now 50 crores. So up to 50 crores accounts will be eligible now. Again, we are embarking on reaching out to the customers for sanctioning to them. As you rightly said, it is a very good scheme where risk-weighted assets, risk weight is zero, government guarantee is there, pricing is also very low, we are offering at 7.5%. So there is no reason why borrowers should not take. But there are genuine reasons why borrowers are waiting for availing the money until they get the operating cycle starts. So we expect somewhere from October onwards, availments will start where we have sanctioned, and further sanctions will be improved since they have increased the amount up to 50 crores.
Got it, sir. And what is the total sanction and disbursals right now?
At our end?
Yes.
So it is 10,000 crores.
Sanctions.
Yes. And 8,000 crores is the disbursal.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Right.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and one. Next question is from Jayant from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Congratulations for the numbers. So actually, I wanted to know on the provisioning, we've taken around 48 billion rupees this quarter, whereas the slippages were lower. And the provision coverage QOQ seems not much sharply gone up. So can you just explain the provisioning this quarter?
See, provisioning has been there. This quarter also provisioning we have shown 4,000 crores amount of total provisioning what we have done in Q1 of the current financial year. Just 1 minute. 4,836 crores we have done the provisioning in the current year. Now 4,836 also includes the provisioning related to fraud of the last one and this one. If you remember last time in the notes on accounts, 760 crores, 766 crores was the amount which was deferred to be provided out of the 704 provisioning we have done in this quarter. Only 59 crores is now deferred to be done in September. Similarly, this quarter we have identified around 1,600 crores provisioning is required in the fraud accounts, where we have done around 425 crores. Remaining we will be doing in the next quarter. So provision coverage is there. The ratio has improved. If you are looking at quarter on quarter, the provision coverage ratio has gone up to now from 77, it has gone up to 80%. What was the other question?
Sir, I'm talking about the time. So basically, even if I take the 700 and 400, that will be roughly 1,100 crores.
Correct.
Still, sir, that 4,800 crore number is slightly higher, or is this aging provisions kicking in? How much of that?
Aging provision is there. Aging provision is there.
How much would be aging?
That is almost 3,000 crores, 2,800 crores.
Okay. And sir, lastly, on the net worth, sir, can you just give a little walkthrough on your net worth during the merger and post? Basically, how has the CET1 moved from a standalone 10.62 right now? I think we're at 9.4. So if you can just explain a little walkthrough, how much did you take harmonization and then how much was it routed through net worth and PNL?
Before coming to that, there was a provision of 1,000 crores held for COVID, which is not counted in the provision coverage ratio.
Oh, okay.
Now coming back on the CRAR PNB 1.0 alone stood at 14.04 if you remember for March, and as of 1st April it has come down to 12.32. 12.32 because of the accumulated losses being adjusted and the figure taken forward. CET1 as of 1st of April has come to 9.17. Okay, whereas it was more than that is around 10.25%. It was more than 10% in 31st March for PNB standalone.
Yeah.
Now in June,
So
the overall CRAR come up to 12.63. Hello?
Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
Now in June, the CRAR has come to 12.63. There is an increase of 30 basis points purely because of two reasons. One reason is reduction in the risk-weighted assets because of reduction in credit outstanding. Second is that 700 crores, which was debited in the March to reserves account, that fraud provisioning. Now that is debited to P&L and reserves has been restored. So there is a 10 basis points increase because of that reason.
Okay. Okay, sir. And for Q, the absolute amount that you routed through net worth for harmonization was how much, sir?
1 minute, that I'll give you. Accumulated losses का जो फिगर एडजस्ट किया था ना हमने वो फिगर कितना था? I'll just come back. You can continue with the other questions. I'll come back just within a minute.
Okay. No, so that is it from my side. This was the last question.
Okay. Take the figure. Yeah, please, next.
Thank you very much. Next question is from Rahul Nandwani. Centrum, please go ahead.
Hello. Hi, sir. Sir, if I look at your SMA2 positioning, from March to June, it has declined. So is this due to repayments?
No, that is repayment only. That is the major one was in March, Air India was there. Okay. In SMA2. Now it is SMA0. So that is a reduction. 17,000 crores was there in March. Now it has come down to 10,000 crores.
And how much of this do you expect?
15,000 crores was there. Air India is around 4,000 crores.
Okay, so that is the differential.
Yes.
And sir, for Q2, how much do you expect slippages from SMA2 book?
The SMA2 book could be around 2,000 crores, not more than that.
2,000. Rest will be, repaid. Is what
I'm expecting roughly 2,000 crores per quarter. That is why I gave an estimate of anything between 8,000 to 10,000 crores slippage.
And how do you look at the morat number? It is still high as compared to your private sector banks.
Which number?
How do you look at the moratorium books?
Moratorium.
So it's at 29%, right, on the overall book?
That is at the end of June, whereas by 31st July it has come down to 21%, 20-21%.
20-21%.
Yeah.
And, segment-wise, it is more or less the same as on June?
See, segment-wise, if you look at MSME, it is around 37-35%. Corporate and others around 25-26%. In fact, in retail, it is less. And retail, it could be even around 18% by 31st of July. Agriculture, again, around 32% is there.
And in August, do you see that trend improving further, or has it?
Yeah, there is an improvement. So, mostly in the moratorium book, the things can be settled to a greater extent with the moratorium only. So, there won't be requirement of restructuring. Only in corporate and MSME we'll have to see for restructuring. Retail impact will be very less.
And for retail, the restructuring would mean only extension of the time period, no?
Correct.
Okay, sure.
But if you are extending beyond 6 months of moratorium, it tantamount to restructuring.
Yeah, that 1 year under that scheme which is allowed.
Correct.
Sure. Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much. Next question is from Amit Jain from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. I have a question on your borrowings, sir. On 1st of April, you reported a borrowings of somewhere close to 66,000, whereas in June there has been a sharp decline. So just want to understand what has led to that decline.
1st April, what is it we have shown? Borrowing.
Yeah, sir. I think it was close to 66,000, sir.
I'll just check and tell you. Probably it is because of the 3 interbank transaction amount also may have been included there. Because 30th June that would have been nullified. I'll just check and come back to you during the time of Mr. Rahul. Sure. Any other question?
No, that's it, sir. That's it.
Yeah, I'll come back. Mr. Rahul, yes.
Thank you very much. Next question is from Akshay Ashok from Dalal & Broacha Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Hi sir, congratulations on a good set of numbers. I just have 3 questions for you quickly. So this one, are you planning to float any one-time settlement schemes for this current year, or are you waiting for all the restructuring, all the modalities and all to be finished? And then after this amalgamation, has it helped in recovery better? Because now there may be in some common accounts and other things, so has it helped in recovery after the ones that, because amalgamation is now complete, I know that. So Has the recovery become better? And are you looking at any co-origination of loans with some NBFCs going forward? Yeah, that's it from my side.
Yeah, first question, what was that? I missed out.
Any special settlement scheme?
OTS scheme is already there with us. In fact, all the OTS approvals what we had given up to 31st of March, because of COVID, we have extended time suo moto in order to give them opportunity to make the payment, and we have given time up to 30th of September. So we are expecting recoveries from those OTS proposals. We'll be following individually. Though the special OTS scheme, keeping in mind the current requirement to hasten the process, we are approaching the board by this month end to get the approval so that it will be open from 1st of September onwards. And as you rightly said, in terms of common accounts, the approach remains the same because efforts need not be multiple. It will be only single effort from the PNB 2.0, that is amalgamated entity. There will be definitely tough time for us to move for recovery. It all depends upon the economic recovery and the position of betterment, the stressed assets what they see. However, NCLT cases are there, which are in the final stages. Some of them, 1 or 2 cases are there in the Supreme Court. So we are expecting from NCLT alone, the recovery should be around 8,000 crores before the Q4. Then we are also expecting other recoveries to the equal amount. So anything around 15 to 16,000 crores is our target to recover. But how it pans out, we will have to see. We are gearing up because we have already restructured the entire organization recently, and we have created verticals for exclusively recovery down the line up to circle offices. So they have started functioning very recently. So we expect good amount of results out of the these organized restructuring in terms of recovery.
Okay. And about this co-origination, are you planning with any NBFC or microfinance?
We have plans. We already have arrangement with one company, but did not take off because of COVID. We are very focused on that for undertaking co-origination.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and 1.
What is the reason for this?
Next question is from Sushil from Indus Equity. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir, and thank you for a stable result.
What is it?
Hello.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So first question, your outlook on treasury, NIM, cost to income.
Okay. Outlook on treasury, if you have seen what we have got, the profit was 1,308 crores by June. And the opportunity, if at all it is there, it will be there up to only September end. Because already we have seen bond market firming up. On Friday, it has gone by almost 14 basis points, 11 basis points, and today again it has gone there. We still have good amount of book where profit can be booked. So our estimate for September will be another 700 to 800 crores. Apart from what we have booked in June, that is 1,300 crores. So it would be anything between 2,000 to 2,100 crores will be the H1 profit as far as from treasury is concerned. Whereas in the H2, we don't expect anything more than both quarters together 500 crores. That is the treasury estimate for us.
Yeah.
So overall, it will be around 2,600 crores.
What is the estimate on NIM, sir?
NIM currently we are at 2.59 and it will be anything between 2.4 to 2.5 because provisionings may increase but NIM will not be impacted. So the earning capability of the bank in terms of the advances disbursed or average advances, so remaining moderate as per our estimate, we expect NIM to remain at around 2.5, between 2.4 to 2.5.
Where do you see the cost to income stabilize thanks to the merger now?
Cost to income has already come down a little bit if you compare year on year. It is around 42-43% if I remember exactly, and it will remain there only because the real impact will start after 6 to 7 months.
Yeah, but based on the impact, let's assume that it starts from 1st October or maybe 1st January.
1st January. Cost to income ratio now currently we are at 49.41 at this point of time. The benefit will start coming from 1st of January.
Now, the assets which PNB and OBC have in terms of branches, headquarters, so PNB's headquarters pretty close to OBC current headquarters. There are very many assets which may be replicating each other. So what's the plan on those?
No, we have already identified certain assets, while specifically OBC head office will be retaining. But if you are aware, in Bikaji Kama, we were having a old head office that we have already identified for sale, and one floor was already sold and other things are in the line. So we have identified quite a good number of assets worth 500 crores to be disposed before 31st March 2021.
500 crores. So what about the common ownership in other assets like insurance and other?
No, insurance, we have investment in both two companies. One is PNB MetLife, another is Choice, Canara HSBC, Oriental Bank of Commerce. IRDA has given approval to us to hold both the companies. So we are at this point of time, during the current year, we don't have any plan to sell any of the our investment from these two companies.
But this holding period is granted forever, or it's for a particular...
As on today, holding period is without any time limit.
Without any time limit.
Correct.
So now, based on the current estimate between rural and urban economy, your presence in rural economy, specifically northern India, is far greater than any other bank.
North, even east as well.
Yeah.
East and northeast because of merger.
Yeah. So now, can you give me some throughputs? What are you sensing from your customer base? How is that behaving compared to the SME and large corporate?
We are expecting higher demand from MSE, rather, rural agriculture and MSE. We are concentrating on investment credit in agriculture in terms of agriculture allied activities and food processing units across northern part of the country and eastern and northeastern part of the country. Government also has taken initiative in terms of animal husbandry, in terms of agri investment credit. So we are very focused in those areas because we expect a good amount of demand from rural segment with respect to agriculture, allied activities and investment credit in terms of particularly food processing. Second, micro and small enterprises also the demand will increase. While the medium enterprises segment will largely depend on how the large corporate segment demand will be moving ahead, but micro and small, I am expecting good amount of recovery in terms of the demand, which again service will happen through rural and semi-urban branches.
In the earlier question, you said that integration between all the three entities, PNB, United and OBC should be over by the year in 2020. So have we spent, the previous call also had asked you that have we spent on digitization and some enablers where integration and new technology higher amount thanks to COVID than what we had budgeted?
Yes, actually after amalgamation, one is technology integration, which is an important thing. Otherwise, business integration we have already done from 1st of April, and human integration also we finished in the months of July and August by transferring the people wherever required based on the organization restructuring. Coming to technology integration, simultaneously we have taken initiative in bringing technology in credit underwriting and credit approval. These two are simultaneously taken as an initiative which is in force. 50% of the segment will be covered from 1st of October, remaining segment will be covered from 1st of January in technology. Simultaneously, the integration of databases of those two banks also will be completed. So by March 21, while all technology related activities will be completed, in the process, we have taken initiative in various technological upgradations, whether it is related to early warning signal, fraud assessment area, risk assessment area, credit underwriting, approval. All the initiatives have been taken which are concurrently running. By 31st of December, 90% of the activities will be completed. We have also taken initiative in digital for digital lending. So that we are expecting it to start partially from 1st of October and effectively from 1st of January.
Sir, thanks to your personal touch point where OBC was concerned and PNB integration, what are you sensing on human resource based on retirement or any other schemes which you are carrying out where future cost is concerned, where human resource, where the entire consolidated bank is concerned?
See, if you look at in a combined entity, our retirements in a year go more than 3,000 number. So the people who retire, their cost is high at the retirement, and the people who enter, they enter at a low cost. So the earlier also I was indicating cost to income ratio is expected to get moderated. it gets moderated over a period of time from 1st of January onwards. While the employee strength is required to be maintained because of the business opportunities for the bank, but in the next 2-3 years, cost income ratio will go down substantially.
Okay, my last question, sir. You've made a new appointment at PNB Housing with Neeraj Vyas handing over to Hardyal, and you've decided to infuse equity in the rights. So now, do we have a commitment from PNB that we would not be selling PNB Housing stake in next 2-3 years, or it's a stopgap arrangement?
No, I don't say stopgap arrangement. When we have taken a decision from the our board, it is with an objective of showing our commitment and seeing that the real valuation of the company is much higher than what is being traded at this point of time. In fact, if you look at the results declared at the end of June, the capital adequacy ratio for PNB Housing Finance was almost 18%, which is well above 15% mandatory from March 21, whereas as on today 14% is the requirement. However, the capacity to garner the capital is also seen as one of the important factors by the analysts. That is the reason why we wanted to give a message to the market saying that PNB's commitment to PNB Housing Finance is completely full and there is no question of any condition on that. So we have taken the approval, subject to approval from RBI, to contribute around up to 600 crores since we are holding 32.62%. So naturally 1800 crores is the amount of capital the PNB Housing Finance is looking at. We are only waiting for the opportunities to be taken by the company because we see that good amount of opportunities there for housing loans in the days to come.
Sir, I conclude that PNB current management decision is to be a constructive on the PNB price is concerned, because in last 2 years various decisions have only destroyed the price rather than anything else.
No, I don't like to say anything on that, but the kind of explanation I have given you,
I understand
because all the companies where PNB subsidiaries are there, PNB name is there, their all brand is very critical, and PNB brand is only driving them besides their capability to run the unit. So we would like to see that all the companies go to a position where they are really valued.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone who wishes to ask a question, you may press star and one. Next question is from Maruk Achania from Elara Capital. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for taking my question again. Sir, when you were discussing your estimate or guesstimate for slippage, you did mention some weak NBFCs. So those would be the small ones, or are there any big ones now?
No, big ones are not there. Small ones only.
Small ones, as in the...
few smaller accounts where, since you see NBFCs at smaller segment and MFIs, they don't have that much of capability to see the market position because they have to extend the moratorium to their clientele. Whereas they are not permitted to have any restructuring. When they are not permitted to have restructuring, it is only a matter of asset liability mismatch. Banks have come forward under the government guarantee scheme also to subscribe to their bonds. So while all these measures are available to ensure liquidity at adequate level with these NBFCs, 1 or 2 odd cases may come up. That is the reason why I indicated like that.
Got it. So it's rather the MFI segment. Maybe
NBFC as well. I am not specifically saying unless we identify, but we have only taken an estimate as to how the impact can happen.
Got it, got it. And so the breakdown of moratorium that you gave was for June or July, not that it's...
Hello?
The breakdown of moratorium you gave was for June or July?
June. That is as of 30th June is 29.2%. What we have given in the presentation. By July 31st, it has come down to 20%.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The next question is from Shashank Verma from Axis Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Sir, on this moratorium, do we segregate it on the basis of EMIs received versus due? For instance, when we say 21% at the end of July, will these customers be who haven't paid any single EMI of the last 5 months?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is from Deepak Kumar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Sir, what is the watch list for the bank, sir? And what is the adjusted book value if you take 50% of watch list as a NPA?
See, watch list, if you ask me in this year, I don't think you will find anything bigger than what SMA2 we have mentioned. That is 10,000 crores and odd we have shown under SMA2, 10,641. Now, only thing is, we'll have to wait and see up to September, and once the Kamath Committee report comes, whether they are excluding any sectors which are under stress for restructuring and how it is going to pan out. Otherwise, as on today, if you ask me the estimate, it is only 10,641 crores. Out of that, major amount is in, if you see agriculture 4,595, MSME 3,130. So the percentage in retail and other accounts, corporate is only 1,900. So it is less. Agriculture and MSME, in MSME we may undertake restructuring, but may not be entire amount. So entire watch list hovers around 10,000 crores. That's why I estimated around 2,000 crores to be slippage for Q2, and similar lines for Q3 and Q4.
And what is the adjusted book value, sir, as on today?
Adjusted book value for what?
Suppose if I remove this 10,000 crores, so you have given in the analyst presentation the book value as 83 rupees.
No, 83 is wrong actually. That was wrongly mentioned. It is 52 rupees.
Oh, it is 52.
Adjusted net worth problem was there. Then again we have published, corrected figure was published immediately.
Okay.
Probably that is why you would have got the now it is 53.18. Correct figure is 53.18.
53.18. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Next question is from Jay Mundra. Please go ahead.
First is on moratorium. So because a lot of banks have different moratorium practices, so just wanted to understand, even someone had asked that does this mean that all the moratorium number that we have presented in the presentation, they have not paid any single EMI, or if someone has taken moratorium but he keeps on paying something, is that included in that number as well?
Anybody who has paid installments less than 2 installments, we have considered as person who has taken moratorium.
Okay. And this is as of June. Sure, sir.
Correct.
And sir, how do you account for working capital moratorium?
That FITL, RBI has permitted to create funded interest term loan, FITL, which will have to be paid before 31st of March 2021. So we will be carving out during the month of September. Up to 31st of August, whatever interest is debited in the CC account, where demand cannot be risen, will be carved out separately so that limit will be, outstanding will be under the limit and account can be operated effectively.
Correct. No, so I am asking, sir, this data of 29% is mainly for term loan only, right?
Yeah. It includes CC also. Working capital also. Overall book.
Okay, overall book.
Yes.
Okay, sure. And sir, your guidance of 2 to 2.5% credit cost, which roughly translates to, let's say, 14,000 to 17,000 crore. Now, does this include this, let's say, 10% restructuring provision? Because
yes. I include that only because practically, even though it is a provision under standard, we would like to include that as well. Considering that only I told. Otherwise, 8,000 crores के ऊपर जो slippage होंगे उसका provision इतना ज़्यादा नहीं रहेगा.
Sure. And sir, as a corollary to that, I mean, if you would have calculated the aging provisions, assuming nothing happens, let's say no recovery happens, then what could be the aging provisions that will be required for the next 3 quarters?
See, the fraud provision itself is around 1,200 crores is still pending, which is to be done in the next few quarters. Okay, that is in notes on accounts we have already given against 1,600 crores. We have provided 425 fresh accounts and remaining is there. And the aging provision will also be there in the next few quarters to come. That could be anything around 1,500 to 2,000 crores per quarter.
Sure, sir. And last clarification, sir. I mean, double B and thanks for a lot of clarification, a lot of data points in this presentation. The double B and below book that we have showed in the slide number, I think 16. So right, so this 22,006 crores, this is the breakup of standard loans only, right? Double B and below 40,000.
Correct, correct.
It does not include NPA, right? Because those would have been taken out of this book anyway.
Correct, correct, correct.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next question is from Upwan Gupta, individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
So my point is that in the month of July, a fraud account was declared in respect of Dewan Housing Finance Limited. The issue is why this declaration was deferred, since all the relevant information was already available on record, and even some other public sector banks had already declared this as fraud account kind of much before our own bank.
Yes. What is the question?
Sir, my question is that declaration was made in month of July that Dewan Housing Finance is a fraud account, 3,500 crores.
Correct.
Why this declaration was deferred, since all the relevant information was already available on record, and even
what
some other public
happened?
sector banks.
There is a procedure to be followed. One is RFA has been noted down by various banks, including our bank. Then the next level is to undertake the investigation internally by every bank. We don't declare just because other bank has declared. We have to complete the process of investigation and other factors. That was one of the reasons, because if you look at even Dewan Housing, if I remember exactly, the earliest was only in February or January 2020 when the fraud was declared. And other banks have started declaring continuously later on that. So we declared in the beginning of the month of July.
Right. So we were the kind of latest on that.
What happened?
My point is we were latest on that.
Latest means late. You mean to say late?
Right.
Delayed.
Right.
That is because of the internal process to be completed in all the three banks.
Probably the books and accounts for financial year 1920 with the Q4 results, they were not kind of fair in depicting this point, which was already available on the books, but it was depicted a bit late.
No, even if we had taken that figure, the provision, RBI gives the dispensation. We were already holding as an NPA account provision up to 45% at that point of time when we declared the as a fraud. Even if it was required to make the further provisioning, there would not have been much of an impact on the balance sheet.
Or not on the balance sheet, but from a perspective point of view, it would have made a difference, because fraud is obviously at a much higher degree than a provision.
I don't think, because ultimately you have to complete every process before you declare. So we had to complete the process in all the three banks together, and accordingly we declare the fraud.
Right. And sir, can you assure us that in future probably these kind of frauds, or probably like the Modi case or something, the systems are in place to keep a check on all this, and this may not happen in future?
See, you have seen whatever Modi case you are referring, it is a one-off case. Definitely we agree that there was a procedural lapse which has contributed to this happening. But since then, if you have seen, there has been constant effort by the bank to improve upon the internal processes and tightening the position to see that such kind of operational lapses do not occur. So as a CEO of the bank, I can assure you that bank is in that direction. We have already put a lot of checks and balances in the system to see that these are identified. Now, if you are linking the case of delay in DHFL to Nirav Modi, I don't think both are completely different. In case of DHFL, we are aware of that when the administrator was appointed in the November, December. Then it was PNB 1.0, we have started the investigation. Then we have also completed with respect to other two banks. After some of the banks have declared fraud, our process also got completed, and we have done that. So to assure you what you are expecting, yes, bank has taken a lot of measures to position a lot of checks and balances in the system to control such kind of things, including technological upgradations.
Thanks a lot for the information, sir. Sir, just the last point. Do you think that obviously kind of as available on record, there was some kind of misappropriation or operational lapses in case of the Modi scam? Do you think the auditors were also involved? Because we can't see anything on that in the audit report at that time.
No, at this point of time, I cannot comment. It is actually some of the cases are in the judicial stage which are running.
Right, but they are the watchdogs of the bank when they are auditing the books.
No, look, listen to me. Internally, we have completed our process of staff accountability and taken action against all those who are involved in the exercise. So the auditor-related issues, we have already flagged the issues to the relevant areas. Now it is for their domain to look at.
Thank you very much. Sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Gupta. I'll request you to come back in the question queue for a follow-up question. Next question is from Jayant from Credit Suisse. Please go ahead.
I had another question on the employee provisions. How much did we take on the wage settlement this quarter, and how much is left now overall employee provisioning?
So this quarter in the notes and accounts we have mentioned is more than 200 crores that we have taken the provisioning in this current quarter. And I don't think it will have an impact because we have been doing the provisioning more than 10%. Looking at more than 10% increase. This quarter we have done 206.19 and cumulative provision as on today what we are holding is 1,572 crores at this point of time. So it is sufficient to take care of the requirements.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Next question is from Atul Kumar from Quantum Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Yes. Good evening, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. One question was related to credit growth. How are you looking for the current year? And if you can mention it separately by retail, corporate, etc.
Correct. See, credit growth, if you ask me, what estimate we had indicated to while declaring the results of the March, we are as on today sticking to that estimate of 4 to 6%. We will review only by October. Out of the 4 to 6%, we are expecting the growth in RAM segment, that is more importantly, retail and MSME, anything around 6 to 8%. Because the corporate book increase depends upon utilizing the existing limits and also depends upon the new demand coming up in terms of the investment. So these two are very critical factors. If you look at even our case, more than 50 to 60,000 crores, approvals and sanctions are there, but utilization has not taken off. Various vertical accounts are there, NBFCs are there, government-owned companies are there. So it all depends upon the requirement. But still, we expect that the growth compared to March position of our credit book, which was around 760, we are expecting anything around 4 to 6% of the growth, of which 8% growth could come from retail and MSME segment.
Okay, sir. And in terms of disbursements, especially on the retail side or RAM side, as compared to what you were on a pre-COVID level to right now, that would be like what's the level of those kind of levels?
Pre-COVID, if you look at by March, retail we have grown almost by 15% last year. So when I am saying 8% growth roughly in the residual part of the financial year, effective annualization will be around 16%. So it is on the same line.
Okay. Okay. And finally, on the NCLT side also, you mentioned that of roughly about whatever your recovery expectations, roughly about 8,000 crores coming from the NCLT account. And as we hear that recently the courts, etc., are not functioning. So I mean, if you could just
in that 8,000 crores, actually 8,000 crores is the recovery and reduction. That means reduction in the lending area. Even though our real recovery other than NCLT could be further another 8,000 crores, what we are expecting. In NCLT, because one account itself is there where Supreme Court case hearing is going on, where our stake is almost 6,500 crores, out of which our expectation of recovery will be almost 4,000 crores. So that is the reason why we are estimating that there are few more accounts which are in the final stage because of COVID, they got delayed. So we are confident of getting that much of recovery.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the last question for today. I will now hand the conference over to Mr. Bhavik Shah for closing comments.
On behalf of Bhartiya and Karani Securities, we thank Punjab National Bank management for giving us the opportunity to host the call. Thank you everyone and have a good day. May I request the MD sir to kindly give the closing comments. Thank you.
Once again, thank you BNK Securities for handling this. When we conducted the analyst meet in the month of February this year, by declaring the results of December, we promised the analysts based on the feedback given by them that we will be more transparent or we will bring more disclosures in our presentation. Accordingly, we attempted in March. Now also we have shown. We will be very happy to receive further feedback from you people so that if there is any further more clarity required in terms of disclosures, we can bring in that. Our objective is to reach out to the analysts as frequently as possible, not definitely only at the time of declaration of results. So any opportunity in future as well, we are open. Bank is also focusedly planning for going to the market for QIP. At that point of time, again, we will be in touch with the analysts. Thank you very much for the opportunity given to us to showcase before you all. Probably we tried our best to give clarifications to all your queries. There were two queries which were left, which we will share with you very shortly with the BMK secretaries. You can pass on to them. Thank you very much once again for conducting the analyst meet.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Batliwal & Karani Securities India Private Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us. You may now disconnect your lines. Thank you.
Thank you.